If there's one huge contention within the paranormal world, it's that of possessions and exorcisms. Now, there's no doubt that it's been absolutely blown to popularity and, fear to a degree off the back of Hollywood, for sure. You've got the Insidious franchise where, the lady who does all the possessions and the psychic stuff wears the gas mask and goes to the other side and all the rest of it. And then you've got the likes of the Conjuring franchise, for example, with Ed and Lorraine Warren unlawfully doing exorcisms left, right and centre, and that was allegedly based on true stories, don't forget. And then you've also got The Pope's Exorcist that came out like a couple of years ago now with Russell Crowe, who of course was the Pope's Exorcist, and it went through his more infamous cases within his career. Now, interestingly, while I was like, I've delved just for my own curiosity into this topic of exorcisms and possessions and, what constitutes as a possession instead of just mental and physical health needs. And I stumbled across an episode of a podcast from the Sean Ryan Show. Now, this episode came out in October of 2024, and it hosted Father Dan Rehill, who is a Catholic priest and exorcist for the Diocese of Nashville. Now, he's gone through some very demonic alleged possessions and based on his experiences, and he kind of talks about it within the show. And I was really interested because I like Sean Ryan after, I follow the UFO stuff quite deeply, and he's obviously a huge advocate for that. And then seeing this, it kind of like tied it into a perfect little knot. Now, it is a 2 hour and 45 minute episode, so I'm not going to watch the entire thing with you. If you want to watch it or listen to it, I highly recommend that you do. But there's just some really interesting stuff that I thought I wanted to talk about with regards to this. So, obviously, with regards to Father Dan Rehill, okay, he is a Catholic priest and exorcist for the Diocese of Nashville, like I've already stated, and he's known for a unique journey from a Wall Street career and to priesthood and work for spiritual warfare. Now, that's something that really intrigued me, is this whole idea of spiritual warfare, because it sounds very exciting, doesn't it? But he, in his early life before he became a priest, he was born and raised in New York, and Rehill worked in finance on Wall Street for over a decade, achieving success in a high-pressure environment. But he did describe this period as one of material comfort but spiritual emptiness. And that kind of sought him out to go on this whole journey. And in 1998, at the age of 33, Dan Rehill experienced a profound conversion during a pilgrimage to a site in Bosnia associated with reported Marian apparitions. And after this event, it shifted his perspective, leading him to prioritize faith over his career. And he began attending daily mass sessions to try and, strengthen his relationship with God. And this is what he credits for the catalyst to him becoming an exorcist and a priest. Now, interestingly, he's taken on the role of an exorcist, which isn't a common role within the church, but there is specific training and appointments. So Rehill was trained in exorcism through programs aligned with the Catholic Church's guidelines, including studies in Boston, and he was appointed as an exorcist of the Diocese of Nashville by his bishop, a role requiring rigorous vetting and ongoing oversight, and he began the ministry around 2018 following encounters with individuals exhibiting signs of demonic influence. Now, this is something that was always piqued my interest and my research, particularly, where I wonder what's the line between, because from the cases that I've looked into, right, there's a lot of crossover between mental health concerns, physical ailments, and then what the church deemed to be demonic, right? And the church allegedly will always get physical and medical professionals out to try and essentially break down whether this is mental health concerns, whether this is physical ailments like Parkinson's, dementia, stuff like that, right? And if all of that's ruled out and someone's deemed to be medically fine, then that's when they go down this route of demonic possessions and stuff. And it's a blurry line, for sure. It's a really blurry line. But As discussed on the Sean Ryan show, Rehill actually conducts formal exorcisms for cases for full possessions using the church's rite of exorcism, which involves prayers, sacramentals, including holy water with exorcism salt, relics and rosary, and strict protocols. He also performs deliverance prayers for lesser forms of oppressions, and he emphasizes the need for psychological and medical evaluations to rule out non-spiritual causes and the importance of the individual's cooperation to renouncing sin. Now, there is one notable case that he talks about where he was doing an exorcism on a Mexican woman, right, who was displaying quote-unquote unnatural behaviours, and she then starts slithering like a snake on the floor during the exorcism. Now, the way that he describes it isn't like, you know, she's like curling her body up and then pushing out like kids do. Like, apparently she literally like slithered across the floor without any form of, like, for want of a better term, propulsion. She wasn't using her feet. She was literally just gliding across the floor. Like, obviously you have to see it to believe it, I suppose, and that's the kind of mindset that I take to this kind of thing. But then there was like talks about understanding demonic possession and how people actually become possessed, and this is one of the interesting clips that I found. So take a little listen to this.
How does one get possessed?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. The two biggest ways are dabbling in the occult.
What does that mean?
Playing with demonic things, Ouija boards, going to a psychic, tarot cards, or actual occult worship of the devil. Those are pretty much immediate open doors that you're going to have demons come right in.
Psychics are demonic.
They're not channeling your dead relatives. Well, the psychic told me my mother shared this with me when I was 10, and nobody ever knew that but us. So it has to be my mom, except for the demons in the room, who also heard it. And now they're impersonating your mother.
Wow.
They can put up a good show. They can also place thoughts in our minds, and they can manipulate our emotions. And when you have that trifecta, the person is 100% believes it's their mother.
Now, I found that interesting 100% because obviously there's this idea of psychics. Now, people who watch this channel who might be psychic mediums might be like, no, we're absolutely channeling your dead loved ones. And, you know, that may be the case. But according to this man, apparently the demons listen into these conversations that you have, and they stack up all this knowledge, and then before you know it, boom, you've got demons pretending and mimicking to be your loved one through the tarot readers and the psychic readers and all the rest of it, and they're not channeling your dead parents or dead family relatives. They're instead channeling a demon who's mimicking that person, and there's no way of safeguarding or understanding, and then that's like an open door to them, and then they go in and they... But apparently they don't possess your soul. Apparently your soul is 100% yours, according to Rehill. Your soul is 100% yours, they just take over your body, which I don't fully understand the difference to a degree, because... is it then internal warfare between your soul and this demonic entity inside your body? Or is it, how, like, do you get shunned out? And then, there's a lot of questions to it. I find it interesting. Do I necessarily believe it? Not 100%. But I like to have an open mind to these things. And when I was researching it, I thought this will make a fun topic to talk about and open the floor to. So what do you guys think? Demonic possessions, entities, evil stuff, exorcisms, do you believe it? Do you think it's a load of bukkake? It's not bukkake at all. I keep using that term incorrectly. It sounds like it should be the right term, but it's don't Google bukkake, by the way. Jesus. Like, you'll have the FBI knocking on your door and, you know, your hard drives will be swiped. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you down there? Jump to the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.